Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right. Yep. Did they get him fired? Philip Fulmer, I think, believes that these two got him fired or at least played a role, and he's not happy about it. Now, SEC media days are going on right now, so, of course, a lot of controversy has been kicked up, and you cannot allow Paul Finebaum and Lane Kiffin to get together. They're like a couple of grade school kids. I mean, every teacher knew there was a couple of kids you couldn't allow sit together. That's Finebaum and Kiffin. All they do is cause trouble. Next thing you know, you got spitballs hitting the chalkboard. It's just is what it is. It's just what they do. Anyway, they got together, and of course, they stirred the pot. Woo! Talking about Fulmer and Tennessee, of all things. And you knew I was going to cover that. And of course, Finebaum put it on X so everybody could watch it. I think he loves controversy, but I'll let you hear what caused all of this.
Since you're a former NFL coach, I think you coached 6 or 7 games with the Raiders. Do you think the NFL
would? I screwed up because I was trying to get fired to make sure I could get the Tennessee job. You didn't know that.
I never knew that story.
Yeah, I think you reported one time that I actually got Phil Fulmer fired. All right.
I did report that, yes, because it's 100% true.
It wasn't true at all.
I mean, the most beloved coach since Neyland, and here comes Lane Kiffin.
Yeah. And Phil Fulmer never spoke to me because of that, because of you reporting that.
Phil Fulmer never spoke to you while you were?
Never once. I tried to reach out to him, tried to go over and meet him, and he wouldn't talk to me because he was convinced, because Paul Finebaum said that I got him fired.
Well, if I said it,
I was in Oakland, losing games in Oakland, kicking a 76-yard field goal.
That was a good move, wasn't it?
Thank you.
I mean,
yeah.
Phil Fulmer doesn't talk to me either. Don't worry about it. I think we're about to end this interview, and we're about to make world history here.
We are, and we stayed true to what we said, right? You know, when we were on the Gulf of America there, we made that statement that I was never again going to bring up that you got me fired, and look, I didn't do it. So we made it.
I don't know how to break this to you, but you just brought it up.
No, but I didn't say you did it. I just was referring to that we didn't do it.
All right. Now, I could possibly see Philip Fulmer thinking that, because if you'll remember, of course, Philip had just a huge run in the 90s. I remember just every year, it was just a matter of whether or not we were going to win the Natty or not, or whether Florida was going to knock us out of the way. If it not for Florida, we'd have probably won 2 or 3 Natties with Philip Fulmer instead of just the one. Thanks a lot, Spurrier. But anyway, Fulmer, I think, believed that Lane Kiffin was behind the scenes talking to some big-time donors and getting in their ear about, hey, you know, I'm going to be available. Because, look, he was out there just getting savaged by Al Davis in interviews and everything else. It was terrible. Davis just had it out for him towards the end, called him a liar and all that kind of stuff. So he knew he was on the chopping block. So he may very well have been jockeying for that position of taking over Tennessee. Because I know when he arrived in here, he was thrilled. He was so happy. Tennessee treated him great. Had a decent first year. You know, he put together this big coaching staff, including Monty, his dad, the great defensive coordinator. And he brought in a bunch of other really good coaches. And things were moving in the right direction. And then all of a sudden, USC got in trouble with the NCAA. Their coach leaves, and he was 7th on the list, by the way. Kiffin was number 7 on the list of coaches they were going to call. Well, the first 6 said absolutely not, because y'all are going to get hammered, and I don't want to be in that terrible situation. But stupid Lane Kiffin said yes. And he said yes the day before National Signing Day. That's how I know he was number 7 on the list, because they had just spent days trying to find somebody to take it.
Hello again, everybody, and we apologize for breaking into programming, but we've got some stunning news, developing news from the University of Tennessee campus that we first reported earlier this evening. If you have not been following us, folks, Lane Kiffin has resigned as head coach of the Tennessee Football Volunteers, and he has done so to accept the vacant head coaching position at Southern Cal, USC, where he was an offensive coordinator for some 5-6 years. Now, Lane Kiffin, only a little over 1 year on the job, a 7-6 record. He's going to have to pay the university $800,000 in order to say goodbye. Now, standing by live over on the University of Tennessee campus right now with more is our very own Mark Packer. Mark, I understand you've had a chance to talk to some of the players. Shock, I would imagine.
Yeah, you know, the only response that I've really gotten out of the players walking into the Neal and Thompson indoor complex behind us, and they are meeting right now. It was a 9 o'clock meeting called by Lane Kiffin to tell his team, the University of Tennessee, not his team anymore, that he is leaving and going to Southern Cal. But all of the players that I talked to on their way in, I said, what's the reaction of the players? All of them just shook their head and said, this is crazy. This is unbelievable. Cannot believe this is happening. As a matter of fact, former Maryville tight end and an all-SEC freshman offensive lineman, Aaron Douglas, we grabbed him on camera just a few minutes ago, and here's a guy, a local kid, who's got a great future, who's not happy.
It means that he's not true to his word. I mean, he told us he was trying to build a program. I mean, well, I wish Philip Fulmer, my coach that recruited me, that told me everything that was going to be played out in my career, I wish he was still here. I mean, what's the point of this?
Yeah, leaves the day before National Signing Day, the worst time you could possibly leave Tennessee or any other team in the country, because you're not going to be able to pick up another coach. There's no way, and you're going to be put in a terrible situation. That's how we wound up with that Dooley cat. Was he terrible. And it led to about 10 years of below mediocrity, just crap for Tennessee that he's 100% responsible for, by the way. But maybe that's why Fulmer doesn't like you. It could be that you came in, undercut him, took his job, probably creaked him out of it, and then, boom, you leave a year later and put Tennessee in a terrible situation. Probably should have hired Philip Fulmer back immediately. Would have been the smart thing to do, given what happened with Dooley and then Butch and Jeremy, especially Jeremy. But anyway, we have Josh Heupel now, thank goodness. Now, this business with Paul Finebaum playing a role in getting Fulmer fired, that's certainly possible. Look, we all know Finebaum is a flamethrower. He sits up there on his SEC show and just, look, that's what the guy does. He's really good at it. But, yeah, if you have a bad year, he's going to throw you under the bus. That's part of his thing. So Fulmer's probably ticked off at that too. So the fact that he's not talking to either one of them doesn't shock me. Look, he was not happy about being fired. I can just go ahead and tell you he was ticked off. He was a Tennessee, well, he still is a Tennessee guy. And I think it really hurt him. So the fact that he would be mad at those two guys, I can totally see it. You know, it was not an easy situation. So these two guys, as you can see, should not be seated together. What? Are you serious? Okay. Kiffin wants to be on the show again. Fine. Link him to the satellite. Good grief, this guy. All right. You got him linked? Okay. Lane, what do you got to say for yourself? You're being blamed for the Fulmer thing. You're in the same boat as Paul Finebaum. What do you got to say for yourself?
Well, hello, Sports Talk Jay. Your old buddy Lane Kiffin here. I can hear you talking smack about me, as usual. My ears are always burning when it comes to you. I'm going to explain something to you. I had nothing to do with Philip Fulmer getting fired. That's ridiculous. I was out there dealing with that knucklehead Al Davis the whole time. You can blame me for that all you want. It's not true. But I want to pick a bone with you about this fake injury crap. Look, let me explain something to you. I never had any of my players fake an injury. I heard you out there talking about, oh, you did these videos and they went viral and you know what you did? You got Greg Sankey upset. And you know how his ego is. So, of course, he had to do something. That takes away, if it were true that I was faking injuries, which I'm not, I've never done that, no player's ever done that, that would really take away an advantage for me. Because those are extra 8 to 10 timeouts that I theoretically could have had, and now I don't have them anymore. Allegedly. Anyway, I don't appreciate that. That was like 2 years of crap that I took over that. And plus, quit talking about how I'm going to jump job and do all that crap. I don't job jump.
This is just in case you live under a rock. We reported that Ole Miss head football coach Lane Kiffin is expected to step down Friday and become the next Auburn head coach. Now, sources close to Auburn say they haven't offered the head coaching position to anyone. yet. And sources in the Ole Miss athletic department have denied the report. Kiffin said on Twitter that it was news to him and mocked the sources. ESPN reported this afternoon that Kiffin met with players Tuesday to assure them he hasn't accepted a job at any other school.
I don't job jump. That's ridiculous. I've never done that. Look, I gave you folks plenty of notice. You had 12 hours notice to get another coach. Yeah, it was the day before National Signing Day, and that might have been a little bit difficult. But you could have gone out and gotten a coach. Wouldn't have been a problem. Hey, rehire Philip Fulmer, you love him so much. Wouldn't have been that big a deal. Quit blaming me for that. It's always something with you. It's my fault for this. It's my fault for that. I do all these fake injuries. I jump from job to job. I stab Tennessee in the back and pour salt in the wound. I did kind of do that. But I'm tired of it. You leave me alone. You keep my name out your mouth. I'm done. I'm not coming on this show anymore. I'm sick of this crap. Sports talk jerk.
All right, fine. Why does he even come on this show in the first place? It's like the 10th time he's been on here. He always swears he's never coming back. Next thing you know, hey, can I come in and talk? What a knucklehead. Anyway, I thought I would bring this story to you, the Fulmer, Finebaum, and Kiffin story, and how they don't speak. I thought you'd find that kind of, I know I find it interesting. It doesn't surprise me in the slightest that he doesn't talk to either one of them, and I guess he never will. And Ole Miss, Lane's going to leave you at some point, unfortunately. And y'all don't deserve it. Hey, we didn't deserve it either, but it's going to happen. It's what the guy does. But hey, enjoy while it's there. Of course, he doesn't have his special extra 10 timeouts anymore, so he might not be quite as good this year. But anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's continue to cover all these big college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, boom, 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 hit that button right there. It will not cost you a dime, help you get my videos. And right over here is a video YouTube thinks you'll enjoy based on your viewing history. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.
You know what? I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving.